Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Next month, we will complete 2 years of Meaningful Mornings. When we first started, we had approximately 500 seekers who would join us every morning. The reason for that? People were scared. People were bored, scared of the virus, bored of the lockdowns. Almost 2 years later, we now have approximately 250 seekers who join us every morning. 100 through Facebook, 50 through Instagram, 100 through Zoom. Why do you think there are less seekers who are joining us 2 years later? Share in the chat what your observation is and try to be nice about me, okay? You are the problem. That's why there's less people. Secular job. People are going to work. They're normalizing living with the pandemic. Possibly. My observations are undoubtedly people are less scared. For those who are vaccinated, boosted, they're not as scared. People are less bored. They're going to school, they're going to work. But here's one more factor to consider. Society, people do not want to reflect. People do not want to reflect on what they're doing, which is why everyone's default is being busy. People do not want to reflect on who they are, which is why people's default is being bored. And that's why people want to be told, don't do this, do this. This is not a new phenomenon. If you observe Rishi Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, 8 steps in practicing evolving. The first is yama, don't. The second is niyama, do. There are further steps though. Pratyahara is check your mind. What are you doing? Samadhi is check your ego. What are you feeling? For those who are reflective, and you are the 50% who refuse to be part of this attrition. You are personalizing what is being shared with you. And please remember, Vivek is never sharing with you. Nimitta matram. I'm simply an instrument of the Sadguru Shishya Parampara. I'll give you a personal example of how important personalizing is, because then we'll follow. In the mornings, when I tend to our children to get ready for school, then Shuka will go outside and I will say, Shuka, what is the rule? And he says, don't go on the road. And when I come outside, where is he? On the road. See, he's just repeating back what I tell him. There's no personalization there. With Vyasa, who's 2 years older, Vyasa, what is the rule? He won't say it back as much. He won't say, don't go on the road, but he won't go on the road. He'll stay on the edge of the driveway, just to frustrate me. But see how he's personalized that more. He's reflected that cars drive fast. There are snowbanks. He can get hurt. We can get hurt. Our community is most diverse. Just look around. As I'm looking at all of you, I see many more community members from Kansas City. Welcome. I have studied Bhagavad Gita in an intense way. You know that I've lived in an ashram in a hyper-controlled environment with a master, verse by verse by verse. So I feel for myself, I am clear about this guidance. Why I offer so many perspectives on the guidance, on the words, is because of the diversity of our community. You have to reflect on this for you to make this your own. Sometimes I think meaningful mornings is like a game of taboo. Here's the word, and I just have to describe it in so many ways until finally you feel like, yes, this is mine. I will follow this. I feel this is quite accurate. I'm reading a portion from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda's commentary. The originality of the Gita is not in what it says, but in how it states. No doubt, apart from the literary uniqueness of the Gita, there is also a compelling charm in the easy camaraderie of the speaker, Lord Krishna. When the same thoughts come through the revered beards of the stupendous saints, they gather a density of distinction, while the same words wear a homely garb when they dance out from the sweet lips of the eternal cowboy. That's awesome that Pujya Swami Chinmayananda called Shri Krishna a cowboy. See, cowboy culture, that also has come from, from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Some review. In verse 9, the message is from the perspective of infinity. See how Shri Krishna knows the diversity of us. He keeps changing perspectives. Infinity is being while doing. Now, let me change the word. Being in doing. Verse 10 is from the perspective of divinity. It is feeling in doing. See how doing doesn't change? Feeling, I feel that I'm serving my Creator. Verse 11, the perspective of the individuality, integrating in doing. While you're doing, what should you be doing? Integrating. Actions to words, words to thoughts, body to mind, mind to intellect. In verse 12, if you don't integrate in doing, you will be stuck. You will be stuck as an individual who will never evolve to the perspective of the divine, which means we will never evolve to the perspective of infinity. If we do personalize, which means we will follow, then we will be joyous once and for all. Another way to describe this is krita kritya. You have completed what you were born for, to be independently joyous. Just think about how much relief you feel when you complete a to-do list. Yes? Just with shopping or working or organizing a retreat, Now expand that to your entire lifetimes. How? Integrate, integrate, integrate. This will begin this flow of feeling, being. Sri Krishna shares the same. He's using different ways for us to visualize this. Verse 13. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. This message we have come across a number of times. We'll just take each line rather than quarter. Sarva, all. Karmani, actions. Manasa. All of our actions are backed by our mind. We've been using the word intention. Sanyasya, I am renouncing. Aste, I am resting. Sukham, joy. Vashi, discipline. My mind, having renounced ego, expectations. What does it do? I am joyous. So all of my equipments are disciplined because I don't need to create joy. The word aste means rests. That is a powerful word. Sharing this in a framework for us to use. As a beginner, we should follow dharma. Dharma means right attitude, right actions. This has to be refined, intensified to seva. What is the difference? In seva, one does not have expectations. As I follow my responsibilities, a classic feeling is reciprocity. I'm following my responsibilities, nobody else's. In seva, no expectations. As someone who works with a lot of sevikas, sevakas, like all of you, I'm always fascinated how expectations creep in and are justified. Our silence retreat, how much is registration? $0. There's no registration, so you can't have a feeling of expectation. Still, people share with me the silence retreat should be like this, shouldn't be like this. See how it's not seva anymore. It's become an exchange. Meaningful mornings would be the same way. There's no registration, correct? So built into that is no expectation. That is training in accepting, being cheerful. This has to be refined and intensified to all you do is puja. Puja means worship, even better is love. My right attitude, my right actions are now without expectation, and puja means without ego. My whole focus is on my master, on my parent, which means I am put in my place. I am an instrument. And the final part of this framework, this is what our aspiration is. The word aste is an expression of asti. Asti means being. When you're being, that is rest. Dharma, seva, puja, asti. Be infinity. I shift to the second line. Navadware pure dehi. Our spirit is living in this body that is composed of 9 holes. The technical words, our spirit is living in a city of 9 gates. These 9 are 7 in our head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clear? Those in the Upanishad course, isn't it fascinating how all of this is connected? 8 is our organ of procreation, and 9 is our organ of excretion. While we are living, while the spirit is living in this body of 9 holes, what is happening? Na eva kurvan. The spirit is doing nothing. Why? I've already told you, aste or asti means being. Na karayan, and is not causing any doing. Is not doing is not causing any doing. How to understand this more? The spirit within us is Rama. Rama means joy. And that's why I've often shared, inside Rama, outside drama. Shift from the drama to Rama. Now, what does it mean? Does not cause any doing. Our spirit is a presence. In the presence of the spirit, the ego, equipments, and experiences happen, but there's no intention to cause this. Like electricity is a presence. Do you think electricity is intending to run this computer or this modem? Electricity is a presence. In this presence, all is happening. The subtle messaging in all of this is be more of an observer. Doing is not working for me. Being is too advanced for me. So what should my practice be? Observe. That's how we evolve from always being tired of doing, to resting, which is being. Observe. Observe your outer world. You will start to observe your inner world. You will know that you are more than the ego. Personalize this. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was, every time you made a mistake, say sorry. The high perspective here is, doership is a mistake. Agreed? We're not the doer. The lower perspective is, we should say, I'm sorry more often. Not in an ingenuine way. Our younger son, Shuka, is not in school right now because someone in his class has COVID. So he's at home with us. So yesterday morning, he and I were shoveling our driveway. He was shoveling snow and I was just cleaning it up. And we were spreading it out, some onto the street because it was warm here. If you spread it out, it will melt. When we came inside, then I hear a doorbell. Someone from the city had come to give me a warning for a violation of putting snow on the road. And I know it was one of our neighbors who has complained about this. And I wanted to share to this individual, it's all going to melt. Who cares if it's there for 1 hour? There's a 2.5-year-old who's playing. I just said, I'm sorry. Why? Shri Krishna is the one who's facilitating all of this, right? Who am I to fight this? Your application for this morning Tomorrow we complete 21 days of meaningful mornings in this year. Tomorrow we complete 83 weeks of meaningful mornings. I want you to rate how reflective you are. 1, you never reflect. 100, you always reflect. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.